Welcome to tonight's post-match media availability following Nashville SC's scoreless draw at Philadelphia Union. We'll start in the room. Go ahead.
Jay, people in this town who probably watch Nashville in the bar this year saw this team tonight, saw how good it is. How good is this team?
Yeah, I think what tonight you saw on display was a team that can play with a lot of depth. Really proud of the guys that had to step in, competed really hard. And again, I thought had enough opportunities out there to potentially get a goal. But again, we're a team that wants to continue to attack, and I thought we did that all the way to the end of the game.
Then for you building up that depth over the last year and a half, obviously Espinosa's the home run and all kinds of ones. Building the depth of it. So how's that been for you over the last year?
Yeah, I think, all the way from the top with Mike Jacobs and the team building the roster, every move's been intentional with specific profiles. And I think you saw tonight, whether that's, a young player like Jack Maher getting his first start, Rubens Passos playing up top, or the veteran guys like Dan Lovitz, Josh Bell, and Jack Maher kind of, leading our back line. And I think it's a real good blend of young players, veteran players, but overall really collective and committed to just being hard to play against each other.
It's so into this podcast situation. I've seen it many times with other managers. Jim did it, everybody's done it in MLS plenty of it. For you now, to be in that position where you have to manage this going into a Saturday, Tuesday, going down to Monterey and all that stuff. What's it like for you personally to go through this as a manager?
Yeah, it's like playing Sudoku on expert level for your first time. So, I think it's just about making sure that we stick to having real clear ways of preparing, real clear ways of training, and real clear ways of recovering. And you have to kind of pull each lever at the correct time. And being surrounded by a really great group of guys that are willing to put in the work and do whatever roles asked for.
We'll move to the Zoom. As a reminder, please utilize the hand raise function if you have a question. We'll start with Valaire, and if you have a follow-up, go ahead.
BJ, just want to ask about the front four you started with. Do you think some of the issues you had maybe in the first half specifically were due to them maybe not playing a whole lot of minutes together?
No, I think I had the tactical setup wrong for them. We're continuing trying to adjust it, but I thought those guys gave a really good, strong shift, and they were adjusting as much as they could. Still found a couple moments to break in transition, but I'll take that one.
And then just on the midfield as a whole, it seemed like this game just didn't have a whole lot of midfield play. I don't know. That's just the way I saw it, and it just seemed like it was very direct from both teams. What do you make of the midfield players, obviously on your side, but just overall for the game?
I mean, listen, I think when you play against Philadelphia, they've got a really clear, defined way of playing. They're really hard to play against. Bradley's done a great job with kind of, instilling that style. And for us, there's a lot of second balls, and there's a lot of defending right in front of your back line. And so, I thought it was just a really, had moments of being combative and having to win duels. And I thought the guys stepped up well. It's not always going to be, just being able to play the ball on the ground and through the lines every match.
We'll move to Jacob James.
Yeah. BJ, last season you and the club talked a lot about having a 50-goal, goal benchmark for, making the playoffs. This season, this was your fifth shutout in MLS play, 10th across all competitions this year. Do you have a similar goal this season as far as defense, maybe a benchmark as far as goals allowed or shutouts or anything like that?
No, we just obviously want to be really difficult to play against from front to back, all 11 guys defending when it's called upon. And really, I think at the end of the day, doing anything it takes to defend our penalty box. And there was periods of tonight where you saw that guys laying on the ground, sliding, blocking shots, doing whatever they had to do to keep the ball out of the net.
Yeah. And, with the style of, attack that you've tried to install at Nashville, what's the process been like of getting that mentality, getting, guys to, go down the penalty box, blocking shots and, putting in the work on that end?
Yeah, listen, we try to work every day to an elite standard, and that's part of it. So, that's what we demand, that's what we train, and that's what we hold each other accountable to.
We'll move to Ben Wright.
Yeah, BJ, I know you talked a lot, obviously, about wanting to play to win, no matter where you're playing. But at the same time, it does feel like maybe not all draws are created equal. Just kind of given the context around this game and the rotation from the lineup, does this feel like a positive point on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at our schedule and you just look at the way the guys competed tonight, Philadelphia put in a really good performance. You have to give them a lot of credit. Of course, we want to win. I think, the guys that we brought on off the bench were a signal to that. And, but at the end of the day, we'll take a clean sheet on the road. We'll take a point, knowing that, we got to turn this around and play a second leg semifinal on Tuesday.
And then I just wanted to ask about Sam and Eddie. Didn't play tonight. I guess, do you have any like prognosis on them and maybe how long either of them are expected to be out?
I don't have specific dates or timelines for those guys, but it's not going to be. I don't expect it to be like 1 or 2 days.
We'll move to one final question in the room for Coach.
Look, it's getting to be that time of year when the World Cup's on the horizon. I'm sure you're watching like everybody else is. I'm sure you're seeing man's been in the news a little bit. Might continue to be the rest of the year. I know you've got this to so much to do with Nashville the rest of this year. But you know your phone's going to ring. So idiots like me or other people. You guys soccer. Was there a point when you might think about that?
I mean, listen, my entire career, John, has been built by just trying to be as good as I can be at each stop. It took me 25 years to become a head coach. I'm really happy being at Nashville. They're the team that took the chance on me, gave me my opportunity, and I'm just going to continue to work as hard as I can at Nashville.
All right, everyone, thank you for your patience. We're joined by defender Jack Maher. As a reminder to utilize the hand raise function. We'll begin with Ben Wright. Ben, if you have a follow-up, go ahead.
Yeah, Jack, I asked BJ the same question. I know you guys want to win every game, no matter where you're playing, but at the same time, just kind of given the context, CONCACAF Champions Cup, the maybe changes that we saw into the lineup, does this feel like a draw that was more a point earned instead of anything else?
Yeah, I think our expectation is always you want to get 3 points, doesn't matter home, doesn't matter away. But with that being said, I think we had a lot of guys that really stepped up. I think Ahmed is really coming into his own. We've been seeing the quality in practice, and now just glad to see he's been doing it on the big stage. Guys like Josh been doing incredible minutes for the team, helping out Andy on a little rotation. And I think a lot of the guys in general just stepped up. And I think that is the sort of the difference that we've had this year compared to years past, is that everyone seems to be taking their chance and making the most of it. And so that's what I'm most proud of in the performance tonight.
Yeah, kind of on a similar note, we've seen the ability to just bring players in from all over the squad, guys who have played every minute or guys who have maybe not played as much, and it doesn't feel like the level really changes at all. What do you attribute that to, and how happy does it make you as a guy who's been here for the whole time to see guys all over the roster just maintaining a high level?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. That was something that I actually touched on before the game with the group, is that look how far we've come. I think what BJ always talks about is we want to compete against the best teams in North America. And sitting in the middle of this CCC tournament, we're a top 4 team in North America. And I think that just speaks volumes to where this team has grown to. And at the end of the day, I've been here for 7 years, and it's just incredible to see the strides that we've made, and everybody stepping up whenever their number's called.
We'll move to Jacob Shames.
Yeah, Jack, obviously early in your time with Nashville was a team very much known for defense, disciplined, and when BJ came in, he brought with him more of an attacking mindset and system, but the defense still has remained strong. This was tonight your 5th shutout in MLS play, 10th across all competitions. What do you feel are the biggest differences to you in the way this team approaches defense now, and maybe differences and similarities in the way you approach defense and defending now versus early on with Nashville?
I think the biggest difference between, you want to call it Nashville 1.0 compared to Nashville 2.0 is that BJ's come and has preached that defending doesn't always have to be against the ball. You can have the ball and still, in theory, be defending, moving the team around, taking chances away from them. And he preaches night and day about just our defensive compactness and transition moments. Whenever we have the ball, it limits anything that any quick counterattacks that any team could throw at us. So I like to think that's the biggest difference, is that we aren't just talking about defending when we don't have the ball. We're talking about defending when we have the ball. And how can we sustain possessions for long periods of time to negate any chances that the opposing team can ever have on us.
And to be able to get a positive result on the road, with a heavily rotated squad 2 days before, a big second leg against Tigres, how well does this game set you up for that? And I guess what can you take away from this match going into, Tigres?
I think the biggest thing is that we're a deep team. Everybody, whenever they come on, keeps stepping up, keeps performing at a high level. And at the end of the day, it gives a lot of the guys that are playing the majority of minutes a needed rest, because we know we're going to throw absolutely everything we can at Tigres in the second leg down in Mexico and do whatever we can to come out with a result and advance in the tournament.
All right, that wraps tonight's availability. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Jack. As a reminder, we will see everyone for match day -1 on Monday.